With WWE not looking for wrestlers for their next call-ups, and Undertaker talking about a feud with the Tribal Chief, this is Wrestling Up. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report for June 10th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Up and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. With WWE scouting talent at the Performance Center reportedly looking for call-ups to SmackDown and Raw from NXT and NXT UK, Ringside News has noted, we've been hearing more NXT call-up rumors. Here's something else we've heard. Vince is not looking for wrestlers, he's looking for characters. Whether they are very real or if the character is outlandish doesn't matter. Vince always asks, what's the character? This seems realistic with the likes of Rick Boogs recently making his SmackDown debut, as there should be more to come. When it comes to SummerSlam ending up in Vegas, Andrew Zarian said on the Madman Pro Wrestling podcast, the guys in Vegas really wanted this event, I could tell you that. I know Nick Khan was a big part of this with the Cardi B thing. He wants to make her a host and make it a spectacle, which I agree with. This is my theory and I'm going to lay it out there. I know internally there were a lot of conversations about Vegas, and at one point it was possible they said we're not going to do Vegas after they said they were going to do it. Was it a complete change of venue situation? I don't believe it got to that point that I know of. From all the indicators and everything said to me, I truly believe it was always going to be Vegas, and they are a PR machine and they didn't want this spoiled. They did put out that story 2 Fridays ago that there are 6 venues to pick from. Apparently WWE did not want to spoil their surprise, as this event is shaking up to be a big one. Speaking of SummerSlam, Andrew Zarian noted WWE does not have Brock Lesnar locked down for the event. WWE had a list of mega names for SummerSlam. Brock was one of those. I don't know if Brock is a contractual thing where the money wasn't right to bring him back now, as opposed to, I don't know, Survivor Series is happening and you're getting closer to Royal Rumble, because he's a touring attraction, especially now. I think his stock has gone up because WWE is going to need all of these guys for all of these shows. A possible mega name set to appear for the event is John Cena, with him rumored to be facing Roman Reigns. Former backstage interviewer for WWE, Todd Pettengill, will return for NXT's In Your House event on Sunday, with him saying this in regards to his appearance on the 2-Man Power Trip podcast. I have no idea what I'm doing. There is a press conference that I'm a part of, and I guess I'm hosting the event. I don't know exactly what that means. I guess they'll tell me when I get there. I try to prepare as much as I can and know as much as I can. I think they're finding a place for me for this, so whatever that role is, I'm happy to fill it. I just want to do it correctly, putting the guys over and telling the right story. When you're doing television, it's the same for any product, just the content is different. I'm comfortable with one aspect and learning to get comfortable with the second. While The Undertaker did not enjoy his match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 33, he had this to say about facing the Tribal Chief of today with Sports Illustrated. I'm so proud of where he is. The night of Survivor Series in November, I went up to Roman and Jay and said, this is the most compelling story that we've done in a while, and where he's been able to take it, it's so good. It's not forced. Roman is hitting on all cylinders. I think he's a great heel, cold-hearted, calculated. There is a compelling backstory, and you still feel the tension when Roman appears. Like I said, I'm really proud of him. I wish I had the gas in the tank to work a program with him now. It would definitely be something special. With Bray Wyatt not seen since the Raw after WrestleMania, many are wondering when he will return. As PW Insider said, we are told Wyatt has purposefully been kept off TV. It is not a case of he has heat for anything, as he is well liked. The Randy Orton match, we are told, went 100% exactly as planned. When it comes to his eventual return, WWE will likely wait for a big crowd to have Wyatt make his comeback. On the Wrestling Perspective podcast, CM Punk touched on the positive aspects of his wrestling career. The business paid me a lot of money and I met my wife because of my job. Those are the two big takeaways. They did try to make a lot of money, but they were very unsuccessful in that. I think I've always been a big believer, and Dave Bautista is the same way. Calls himself the dream chaser. I just figured it out at an early stage, probably because my parents forced me to go to church and stuff, and immediately started to realize a lot of stuff was just BS and life is short. You need to figure out what you love and just try to do that for a living. I was floored when somebody paid me the first time I ever made money wrestling. I was like, well darn, I don't have to have a real job ever again. I was all in. It let me follow my dreams. I've been everywhere twice because of wrestling. I met my wife, all the fans, bought my house, so I appreciate that. On Talk Is Jericho, Billy Corgan spoke of his purchase of the NWA in 2017, saying, "I'm proud to carry the mantle of the business in this way. It's a very specific thing, and of course, the business is far different than it was in the heyday of the NWA. There's no pretend there. When I bought the NWA, and that was coming out of the whole situation with TNA and the debacle and lawsuits, and there was a lot of kind of public acrimony there. And then I purchased NWA. Crazily enough, it was owned by one person. It was so devalued. He tried to sell it to everybody. Nobody wanted it. As far as I know, he certainly offered it to WWE. They thought it was so worthless that they didn't even just buy it just to take it off the market. Then when I bought it, Jim Cornette and other people, and I love Jim. What the hell did he buy? He might as well have bought air. He bought 3 worthless letters. A lot of that type of stuff, and certainly I sat around at one point and thought, well, if I started Billy Corgan Wrestling or SP Wrestling, and I thought, no, I want the history. I'll take that history. I'll take that on. I like the challenge of that. The son of the late Brodie Lee has not been seen much on AEW TV, as a fan commented on his mother's Instagram post suggesting falling grades were the reason for -1's absence, with Amanda Huber replying 100%. He stopped doing his work so he lost privileges. I don't make money off any appearances he does at AEW, it's purely for fun. It's his favorite place in the world and a reward for hard work. He managed to finish his school year with all A's and B's despite slipping up a bit. I'm very proud of him. With -1 making his return on recent episodes of Dark and Elevation, it's safe to say he's gotten his schoolwork out of the way. When it comes to being told she would be main eventing night 1 of WrestleMania 37, Sasha Banks said to Just Women's Sports that she was not aware until a couple of days prior to the show. It was that whole month was just an exciting thing for me. We had no idea who was going to main event WrestleMania. The year before, I was telling my best friend Bailey like, I'm going to main event WrestleMania 37. It was always my dream to main event to WrestleMania, so I was just putting it out there in the universe and really just striving and working towards it. So the month before Mania, I really thought I heard rumblings that it was going to be the guys, and I was like, okay, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? All I can do is be me and just keep doing my work as best as I can and show Vince that if I'm not the main event, I don't know what main event you're going to have. It was legit the Wednesday before Mania, I found out that we were the main event, and I was like, again, so nervous because I was asking around, did you get the card? Did anyone tell you? And they're like, you're not the main event. And I'm like, nobody told me that. I'm like, okay, I still have the time because Vince hasn't said anything. I'm going to go to rehearsals, and if I find out, all I can do is maybe ask Vince, and that's all I can do. I went to rehearsals, and TJ Wilson, who's our producer, he told me that I was the main event, and I just instantly started crying and just like, wow, no way. Like I knew it, it's something that I wanted, just to finally to hear the words that you're the main event. It was so overwhelming. It's bringing back tears. It's crazy because it's the biggest thing you can ever do in wrestling. My heroes haven't gotten to do what I've done. So not only that, and just being a woman and being an African American woman, we're checking off so many things, but the biggest thing that I got to check off was my biggest dream in my heart, fully accomplishing that last check mark on my list of everything I had written down since I was a kid. That was just last month, and I'm on a vacation right now still soaking that in. I'm just ready for what's next. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.